Hey YouTube, it's Jaryd, and today we're going to react to Eurovision semi-final 1. Let's do it. First of all, I know what you're all thinking. What's going on back there? Where's the beautiful brick wall? It came to the end of our tenancy and the landlord was going to sell that place, so we had to try and find somewhere else. And I was in the middle of referencing for the next place, which unfortunately means that I wasn't able to stay in London. So I've come back home and with all my family at the moment. This is a renovated shed which we keep spare cats. We work with cats protection, so we keep some of the spare ones. There's one actually running around in here. She's blind and she's probably wondering what's going on. In about a week or so, I should be moving back to London in the next place. But until then, I wanted to just catch up with you guys. I feel like I haven't seen you in forever and I miss you all so much. So let's get into it. Oh my God, what an incredible semi-final that was. It doesn't feel like it's been 2 years since we had our last one, but here we are. Do you know, as soon as that intro music started playing, I was taken back and got a bit emotional. It was so good to see everyone back again. And as we all know, this was going to be the most difficult semi-final of the two. We had a lot of good competitors, and as I predicted, you know, there's going to be a bit of disappointment. So a lot of heartbreak tonight. So we have our top 10 qualifiers. I wasn't upset about those results at all. In my predictions video, I got 9 out of 10. And if you look at the comments just underneath, out of my top 10 favourites, I also got 9 out of 10. So all across the board, very, very happy. I am very gutted for some of the songs that could have been but weren't. But I am happy. Most of my favourites, if not all of my favourites, actually got through. So I'm pretty chuffed. So I'm just going to run through all 16 of the songs, just give my opinion on them, my thoughts, and then hopefully I'll get to have a conversation with you guys in the comments, just see what you actually thought about it. Did all your favourites get through? Was a country robbed in particular? So kicking the competition off was Lithuania. I've donned my most yellow outfit I have with me. I know this is like some kind of burnt orange. What a way to kick off that show. I've always said about the group that they are chaotic and weird and kooky and charismatic. You know you're going to get a show when it comes to them. I think people that tune into Eurovision for a one-off expect a certain level of weirdness that just the name carries, and the group did not let us down. It was just enjoyable from start to finish. First of all, I've been trying to do that finger dance thing for ages and I've not mastered it yet. Eurovision. Ugh. Love the outfits. I thought they contrasted very brilliantly with the screen in the back. I love their one-on-one with the camera, just chasing that around. It's just a feel-good pop song, you know. I did prefer On Fire from last year, but to be fair, I have had an extra year of listening to it. We saw a lot of support behind the group. They were fan favourites last year. Competition didn't happen, so they've come back this year with a lot of love, a lot of support, and it's justified. I think it was an incredible performance and they truly, truly deserved to go through. On to Slovenia. So the first thing that came to my mind is she looks absolutely beautiful. I think the outfit contrasts very nicely with the back and the cape flowing around her mid-performance. I think it really added another level. What we can't ignore is that she has an incredible voice. You know, it's very hearty and rich. I think we compared it to Annie Lennox in a previous video. It's a delight to listen to. You know, I think I could easily listen to her perform constantly. Saying that, from the first listen, I didn't ever peg it as a contender. Not because of her, but because of the song itself. I think it was a bit of a basic ballad. It didn't really go anywhere besides the latter half of the song. And by that point, it's too late. You know, if you don't get their attention within the first 20 seconds, you've probably lost them. Which is a shame because I really enjoy her. I really liked her voice. And I feel like she was much better than the song that she brought with her. Very visibly, you could see that she was nervous. You know, you could see her hand was shaking. And I think that did falter her for the beginning part of the song. But luckily, she recuperated and she smashed out the last bit of it. You know, when she belted that high note, I was cheering for her. I was like, go on, go. You can do this. And I can't even blame it on it being semi-final 1 because amid semi-final 2, I still wouldn't see it as a contender. I just feel like it wasn't strong enough, unfortunately. Now we're on to Russia. Oh my goodness, do you know what? Everything about this was so heightened. It was so good. The comically large dress, which was made out of different materials, I think maybe different parts of Russia, different cultures, was referenced to. In my mind, I saw, you know, the little Russian dolls, which you take one out and keep. I thought she was going to keep opening it and be in another one. I thought, you know, missed a trick there. That could have been really good. Throughout the song, very, very expressive face. You know, she really told the story with it. And even though you don't necessarily understand what she's talking about, you're on the journey with her, because she just was so animated the whole time. I think the song's kind of like Marmite. You were either going to love it or hate it. And back in my prediction video on the comments, I write what my top 10 were and then what my top 10 predictions were, because they are different by 2 or 3 songs. I put that Russia was one of my top 10 favourites from semi-final 1, but I was worried it wasn't going to qualify because I feel like the messages that it's telling would be lost on maybe some ignorant people. We'd already seen it. There was a lot of hate and backlash against the song because of the messages that she's conveying, where she's from, and then you had a lot of people that were saying it was too pro-woman, too pro-LGBTQ+. So my thoughts were that a lot of ignorant voters were just going to look over the song, despite it being very, very good. I thought the backing vocals, you know, they really hyped her up throughout the song. I think they were just as charismatic and passionate as she was, and it really carried, and it built up towards the end. And then you could see the screen light up with hundreds of different people, and she's singing about don't be afraid, you know, change and everything. It was so beautiful. You have to admit that it was a spectacular moment. And whether you like the song or not, you cannot take that away from her. I thought that was such a power move, and I think it worked well in their favour. Just everything from the dress to the face to the dancing. Not only was it very animated, it was very comical. And when you contrast that to, well, the messages of the song, I think it's the ultimate kind of trolling, and I absolutely loved it. Next up, we have Sweden. So a lot of people were really worried about Sweden this year. They thought it was going to be a borderline qualifier. He just had surgery before he performed, and I think it reflected in one of the rehearsals. So there was a lot of panicking regarding this. I feel like all fears disappeared as soon as he took to that stage. What a great performance, once again, by Sweden. You know, they just have the magic touch when it comes to it. I feel like their Melodifestivalen is very strong in sending a good artist to Eurovision. Once again, loved this kind of velvet bathrobe he was wearing. I wish I had a few of them just to wear around the house. Blinged out, you know, you saw all of the accessories. I thought he looked fantastic. Same with the backup dancers. I thought his voice sounded sensational. You know, he really hit all parts of that song. For someone so young, he really did carry this performance. I think he looked confident, he was brave, he just smashed out of the park, to be fair. There's a lot of people that will say that Sweden are overrated, or they always qualify, they always do it. That's because they take it seriously and they do the job right. Sweden hold one of the best national selections out of every single country. They always have high quality performers, and they always send good songs. Sweden are not given a place straight to the final. They always earn their way there, and once again, rightfully so this year. I really like the lighting, how it was set against him, the staging of it all. It was atmospheric, you know, I think it really captured the essence of the song, and he sang his heart out. So it was an easy qualifier, there was no doubt. Next up, we have Australia. Unfortunately, due to travel restrictions, Montaigne was not able to come to Rotterdam, so she had to perform from home. I wasn't sure if it was a pre-recorded video or she did it live via satellite over there. Since I first listened to it, I really enjoyed Technicolor. I think it's just fun bubblegum pop. Loved the lighting that was on her and the backing singers. It was very 80s, very disco, very colourful. You know, I think she brought a artistry that we didn't quite have at Eurovision this year. When I see Montaigne, I can only describe her as a unicorn. You know, she's so unique, and I really, really enjoyed her voice. And I am gutted that it was a non-qualifier. I think it was really... It could have been a case of, if was this in semi-final 2, would it have qualified? I reckon maybe so. Maybe there was a disadvantage to not being there live in person. I can say a lot of ifs and buts, but ultimately it didn't qualify, which I think is a very big shame. I really enjoyed the song, but it was a difficult semi-final. There's no other reason for it. You know, we knew this going into it, that there was going to be one or two that we were going to lose. For me, one of them was Australia's entry. Now we're on to North Macedonia. Okay. From my first listen of the song, I felt it was hammy. You know, it was really overly dramatic and cheesy. And I didn't really understand why. The whole premise of this song is that this guy was really upset and gutted that he didn't get to perform last year at Eurovision. And he's got the opportunity to perform this year. And he's still kind of going with this song. It's slightly ironic. Not really an uplifting song. It feels like a depressing reminder of last year. So while he himself has a lovely voice, it's not enough to carry this song through to the final. There was the effects he had, some kind of light that was, I think, represent his soul, and then, you know, the hand and the heart that came out, and then there was the reveal of the shiny reflective top which just exuded all of this light. And it felt so much. The whole performance felt very, very empty. You know, here's this grand song, it's supposed to be this big gesture, but it feels hollow. It feels like there's no emotion behind it. It's singing for the sake of singing. And it just was a massive miss for me. But I've always said, you know, that's just my opinion on it. I've given the song many chances and it just doesn't resonate with me. If it does for you, I'm so happy for you, because everybody needs a song that they can connect with in that way. I just can't sit here and pretend I like the song or make up excuses for it. You know, it's not a favourite song of mine, and I just didn't see a good quality to it, especially in semi-final one. Now we're on to Ireland. So having listened to the song originally, I wasn't the biggest fan of it. It didn't kind of sit with me. I didn't look at it and say, that's a standout, especially in this semi-final, which has got powerhouses. I will admit it has grown on me, and I much prefer it now than I did before. Having said that, we can't talk about the studio version. It is the live performance itself. I felt like the song was maybe a bit big for her. You know, I think she struggled with a couple of the notes there. It kind of went in and out. I feel like the song was maybe a bit too big for her on the stage, and it kind of overwhelmed her a little bit. We saw that she kind of lost her way. You know, her breath wasn't in the right place, and she kind of lost a note a few times, and it took away from the spectacle that it should have been. In her defense, she did have what our commentator said was this Tough Mudder obstacle course in front of her. You know, she was darting in and out of all these buildings. I will say that staging, although minimalistic, was absolutely genius, and I thought it was so spectacular. This whole thing of her kind of being immersed in this little world, and, you know, she could interact with it, and she was traveling through it. I thought it was so creative. I thought it was stunning to look at. And whilst I wasn't the biggest fan of the song, the staging honestly took my breath away, and it was a risk, and I'm glad they did it, because do you know what? They tried something different, and I will never knock a country for trying something different. UK, take note. Next up, Cyprus. So Cyprus, another controversial song this year. A lot of people trying to cancel it because she's singing about El Diablo, the devil. I think Satan would agree with me that this song is a bop. I loved the lighting, the LED behind her. I really loved this reflection that she had behind. I loved all of the backup dancers dressed as devils. I thought it was sexy, sultry. It's kind of what you expected was going to happen with this song. I feel like she should have been maybe dressed in red glitter or something a bit more fiery than just the glitter dress. It was the only thing that took me out of the whole illusion. But she still looked sexy, she looked amazing. The lighting and everything, it really encompassed where we thought we were going to be, which was hell. You know, a bit more fire wouldn't have gone amiss. I think, you know, just the whole thing up in flames. I think it was a very, very good performance. A lot of people reacting online saying that it was a copy of a song and that it copied a music video and it copied this and that. I'm sorry, but all of your favourites copy someone else. Everyone has been influenced by someone else. If you think about how many songs actually make it to Eurovision, and then think about all the songs that are in the national selections, every single year you have hundreds, thousands of songs that are made to go forward, and they will all be similar to another song. Even the winners of previous years have had their songs compared to other songs. So it really is a case of get over it. Like, whether you think this song is a copy or it's not or whatever, it's a good song. Next up we have Norway. So we've already had the taste of Devils with El Diablo. We now go over to Angels, Tix singing Fallen Angel. Oh my god, this song is such a guilty pleasure for me. So I guess this song was kind of considered the gimmick song of the year, you know, with all of the devils dancing around and he's got them all in chains and he's dressed as an angel. A lot of people kind of looked at this to be the joke song that would or would not qualify. Nobody really... There was a lot of disdain for the song only because they managed to represent Norway over fan favourites Kano, and unfortunately I think a lot of that got carried through, and even if he did the best performance ever, a lot of people would still be very bitter about that. But I thought he did a fantastic performance. I thought his voice was amazing. I really enjoyed it. You know, I said it's a guilty pleasure for me, and I could listen to it consistently. I've loved watching all of the backstage things with him and Effendi. I think it's just so random and so bizarre. It's a testament to him. He's a really likable person, and I'm so glad that this song went through. It was just another win for Scandinavia. So now we move on to Croatia. This was the one. This was the one. First of all, I really do like this song. Okay, before I start, I just have to put that out there. I really enjoy it. In my prediction video, I didn't put it, but under the comments for top 10 favourites, it was one of mine. I think it's very catchy, it's very hyper, and it's just good old pop. You know, it's a good bop. First, I'm just going to comment on... I just want to get the good things out of the way because it's probably easier. The outfits, the aesthetic, the lights, everything worked there in her favour. I think that was very clever. It was beautiful to look at. Visually and the aesthetics, all stunning. It obviously had the support of the people. There's been a lot of backlash all over social media. Everyone's already making their things of saying Croatia was robbed. For Croatia, it was a fantastic entry and is exactly the direction that they need to be going in. Unfortunately, throughout the performance, especially as she went for the higher notes, you know, she went flat quite a bit. And it wasn't as bad as some other countries, I will admit, but I feel like that may have worked against her. The verses and the part where she would sing TikTok in sync with the dancers, flawless, don't touch it, don't change a thing. The higher notes, you know, it was just a bit of a reach for her, and she went flat quite a few times, which is why I didn't put her in my top 10 predictions, because I felt like the live might be the death of the song. Semi-final one had a lot of bops in it, you know, it was a lot of female artists singing pop songs, and we were going to lose one of them. It just so happened to be Croatia, but it shouldn't be used against Croatia because the song is good and it's exactly where they need to be going with that. And if they come back next year or the year after, I want to see more of that kind of style because I think it was fantastic, and I'm still going to listen to it on repeat regardless. Next up we have Belgium. This was one that people were on the fence with. They thought maybe the public wouldn't stand behind her, maybe the jury would. In my prediction video, not only was it in my top 10 predictions, it was in my top 10 favourites because there was this eerie, creepy quality to the song that just reminds me of the 90s, 2000s indie band kind of sound. I was a big fan of that music video. I thought it was very dark and mysterious, and then my worry was how were they going to relay that to the live stage. And I think it was, you know, it was a simple staging. It just had them surrounding her. She was there looking oh so elegant and oh so classy in that dress. What I loved were the close-ups of her singing up on the screen, and it was so dark and mysterious. It really looked like there was some kind of desperation, sadness on her. It also reminded me of like the Blair Witch Project or Scary Movie when Gail's got the camera and she's speaking into it and her nose is dripping and stuff like that. So it was a bit of like, for me. The first time I saw her, I was a bit like, Lulu? She did look very similar, but I thought, you know, she looks absolutely beautiful and her voice was incredible. In a semi-final full of pop songs, you know, it really did stand out, and I'm so glad it got the recognition it deserved. So next up we have Israel. Listening to Israel first in the studio version, I was completely sold in it. I thought it was fantastic, amazing, changed my life, paid my rent, all of that stuff. Very good, you know, I was like, she's got an amazing voice, it's incredible, and I couldn't see it not qualifying. And then as it went on, a lot of people were talking about maybe this would be on the fence. They weren't really sure which way it was going to go. Unfortunately, throughout the song, she ran into a lot of flat notes. Especially as she tried to go for some of the higher ones. She's got an incredible range, but maybe not the best control over it, and she spiraled in certain places, and it was kind of like a this is good. It was a bit of that, and I was very worried for Israel, who I predicted to be in the top 10. I thought it was going to be an easy sail through, and then I saw this and I wasn't really sold in it. What I'm going to say though, that whistle notes, oh my God, so beautiful. It was exquisite to listen to. I think we've confirmed that is the highest note in Eurovision history now. Is that the highest note? I think it is. Oh my God. And just the way she was smiling, she was so at ease with it. She was like, yeah, I'm killing this. You know I'm doing this right. Oh, it was so good. I think that really did make up for some of the bumps she hit in the rest of the song. It was such a good choice for that. Very proud of Israel. Loved the hair, the concept of how she did that. Costumes I was a bit about, and then there was the reveal to another outfit, which you didn't really see clearly happen. It's not like Croatia when they ripped out the sleeves. So that maybe could have been a miss there, but all in all, I thought it was a good performance. Next up we have Romania. Oh, this one was a bit of a shock to me. There was a lot of hype on social media. I mean, ballistic hype behind Roxanne and this song. And everybody was like, oh, it's an easy qualifier. It's 100% going to sail through. And because I'd seen that on social media, I put on my top 10 predictions. I was like, yeah, I think Romania will go through. It wasn't in my top 10, but I think for the predictions, I was like, yeah, this is one that's going to sail through. There are so many levels to this song, you know, it's really got that eerie mood behind it, and I feel like that wasn't relayed into the live performance. I feel like it didn't quite work. We have to go into this being completely honest. The whole performance was messy. So there were parts of the performance, particularly the staging, the outfits, the movement, that really captured the mood of the song. I think it really worked in its favour. What mainly let it down were the vocals. Maybe it was the breath out of place, maybe it was all of the movement that was happening. There were a lot of bum notes. It was truly uncomfortable to watch that a song that's considered one of the favourites of the people just slowly, you know, downhill. And it was just really sad to see, because we've seen other performances. You know, Alcohol You as well was a great song, and just none of it was there for this live performance. It's not even a case of if it was in semi-final 2 or if or but or what, you know, it was just a poor performance, and sometimes that happens, unfortunately. Sometimes on the night it all just goes wrong, and I think that was the case here with Romania. Sadly so. Speaking of Effendi, now we're on to Azerbaijan. Oh my God, this song was so good. Oh, everybody was saying it was going to be one of those borderline qualifiers. No, she smashed it. She did so well. The vocals, the backup, the dancing, the staging, the scenery that she had behind her. The one thing I would have changed, me personally, was the camera work. I think I would have liked to see a bit more cuts between the cameras. I feel like the front-on view that we had was a bit repetitive and it got a little bit boring. I think I would have liked to see a bit more of a swap around, but I do get that it was a build-up until that last moment when she's like, let's go, and then it kind of goes a bit manic. But everything else apart from that was spot on. I'm so happy that that performance went so well, and I'm so happy it qualified. It was just outstanding. Once again, Azerbaijan bring the fire. Now we're on to Ukraine. I think for me, this song stole the show. I wasn't expecting that. Ukraine is my favourite country in the competition. I love everything they do. Even the songs that aren't considered the best, I still think are better than some countries' best. The way they kind of created this little world, this forest kind of atmosphere, was so well done. I loved the dancing with the ring lights, just having it around them, having it behind them to represent the sun. I thought it was very clever. She was giving me Trinity from The Matrix meets Kermit the Frog mixed together, this dark, mysterious figure. I absolutely loved what she was wearing. I loved the dancing that she had going on around her. I remember as we were watching the performance and I was just like, this is how you Eurovision. You know, it has everything that you could need. I think it's not only a fantastic song, fantastic singers, great performance. All in all, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. It was just a fantastic performance, and I can easily see that soaring into that top 10, if not that top 5. I think it was such a good performance. What I love about Go Away is that they just somehow managed to clash folksy, classical with contemporary, with modern. They just create this sound, and it appeals to all sorts of people. I think it's a very wholesome entry. And that final shot when the sun comes up behind her and she's standing there, mwah, chef's kiss. So good. Last but not least, we have Malta. So pretty quickly, this song became our favourite. We looked at it and we said, yep, that is your winner. 100% that's got to win. I think it had all the makings of everything a winner should be. She had a great voice, great song, and all that was needed was the staging. So we were kind of, we were anxious about that. Once again, taken into consideration, Destiny is only 18 years old and she's this talented. I was just like, oh my God, amazing. Not gonna lie, the staging was a bit of a letdown for me. I was kind of expecting something a bit more grander for the song that it is. It's bringing the party. I thought there would be a bit more happening. I really did love the cutaways where it shows her and there's the hand dancing and everything. I thought that was very beautiful. The rest of it, it just kind of felt centered around these dance beams they were there, and it relied a lot on the lights behind her, as opposed to the performance of them themselves. So I was a little bit let down by that, but rest assured, her voice truly carried all throughout. She went for a massive high note and she did go flat at the top there. It was a bit of a miss, but unlike with Croatia and Romania, it was kind of just the one or two. It wasn't consistently throughout. So I think it's something that people can overlook, especially because the song is just so good. It's just such a good bop. We love a good bop, don't we? Nice little bop. I did like the contrast of the outfits to the screen. It is very bright, like neon, similar to with Lithuania. You can easily see why this is one of the songs that are the favourites to win. I think if you take away the live performances and just have the studio version, it's such a good song and it will do well on the radio, in the clubs, worldwide. That's a song that can really traverse that. If we look at just the live performances, was it the best of semi-final one? No, it wasn't. I don't think it was. But do you know what? It's definitely top 3. So for semi-final one, that's what I thought of the performances. What do you think of the top 10 that qualified? Do you think maybe there should have been some swaps, or are you pretty happy with the 10 that we've got going forward? Let me know for each country. I will also be reacting to semi-final 2 here, and then within the next week or 2, I should hopefully be moving back to London and I'll be set up again and I'll be bringing you lots of brand new content. If you want to catch up with me, spy on me, see how I'm doing, you can follow me on Instagram or Twitter at Jaryd Headley. Links are in the bio and on the profile. Let me know all of your thoughts, opinions, stick them down there in the comments. Don't forget to give us a big thumbs up. Let me know all of your thoughts and opinions. Let me know all of your thoughts and opinions. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And until the next one, take care, guys.